Hello viewers, welcome to online course on Mathematics 3 whose paper code is MCSC 301. This course basically for undergraduate student or BTech student of engineering field. Today we are going to discuss about the well ordering principle and fundamental theorem of arithmetic. Myself Sanjay Vishwas, Assistant Professor of Mathematics, Department of Applied Science and Humanities of Guru Nanak Institute of Technology. Here is my details of contact information. If you have facing any kind of problem regarding my online class, you can call me or send message through my mail ID sanjay.vishwas@gnit.ac.in. So now move on the next slide. So in this slide we will discuss about the syllabus of module 3, that means the number theory. The number theory is the very important part of abstract algebra. So here is the syllabus of number theory. So number theory is divided into 6 topics. So first of all we will start with the topic 1. So that means well ordering principle and fundamental theorem of arithmetic. And this is my first lecture of number theory. So after that we will talk about the second topic, that means the second class on number theory, and it will be divisibility theorem and properties of divisibility. And after that we will discuss about the fundamental theorem of arithmetic in the third lecture of number theory. And in the fourth lecture we will discuss about the greatest common divisor, and this is the fourth topic as well in number theory. And after that we will talk about the Euclidean algorithm for finding GCD, that means the greatest common divisor of numbers. And the last topic, it will be some basic properties of GCD, that means greatest common divisor. So therefore the following topics, that means the 6 topics are in number theory we will discuss from today. Now move on the next slide. So in this slide we will discuss about the some references or textbook. You can take any one of the following books for your reference. So you can take either Elementary Number Theory by David Burton, or you can take Abstract Algebra by S.K. Mappa, or you can take Contemporary Abstract Algebra by Joseph Hegelian. So there are fourth book for reference, Abstract Algebra by Damian Foote, or you can take the Elementary Number Theory by Jim Hofferon, or you can take this is the 6th book I have taken in this slide. So Abstract Algebra, the Theory and Application by Thomas W. Judson, or you can take an Introduction to the Theory of Numbers by G.H. Hardy. So I have taken 7 books for references. You can take any one of the following books for references. So after that we will begin with the first lecture of number theory. So the first lecture of number theory in Mathematics 3, and it is well ordering principle and fundamental theorem of arithmetic. So here is the content of today's lecture. So first of all we will discuss about the introduction of number theory, that means the well ordering principle as well as the fundamental theorem of arithmetic. So after that we will talk about the natural numbers, that means 1, 2, 3 and up to infinity. They are all natural numbers, and the natural number are the numbers used for the counting. Okay, and next we will discuss the proof by mathematical induction, and after that we will talk about the complete induction. The inductive idea can be pushed into some interesting places, and after that we will discuss about the well ordering principle and the fundamental theorem of arithmetic, and after that we will talk about the integers and induction, that means the mathematical induction of numbers. So let us began with the introduction of number theory. The number theory is the branch of mathematics concerned with the properties of the positive integer. That means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and up to infinity. And it is also called the natural number. So however, the theory is not strictly confined to just the natural numbers or even to the set of all integers. And you know that the set of all integers, they are 0, plus, minus 1, plus, minus 2 and up to infinity. And in that case, where the set of natural number is, this is the subset of set of integer. Okay, so natural number, they are 1, 2, 3 and up to infinity, but the integer, the numbers which are 0, plus, minus 1, plus, minus 2 and up to infinity, and sometimes called the higher arithmetic, and it is among the oldest and the most natural of mathematical pursuit. So these two numbers are the oldest and most natural numbers of mathematics. Okay. So the number theory has always fascinated or as well as professional mathematicians. So in contrast to other branches of mathematics, many of the problems and theories of number theory can be understood by layperson, although the solution to the problem and the proof of the theorem obtained require a sophisticated mathematical background. And you know, until the mid 20th century, the number theory was considered the furthest branch of mathematics, and with no direct application to the real world. Okay, so in the number theory, this is the core part or core subject of mathematics. And the advent of digital computers and digital communication revealed that number theory could provide unexpected answer to a real world problem. So therefore, until of mid 20th century, the number theory was considered as the partial branch of mathematics, and there is no direct application in real life. But now, when the computer is discovered, then the digital communication revealed that the number theory could provide the unexpected answer to the real world problem. Okay, so the number theory is a very important part of real world. And at the same time, improvement in computer technology enabled number theories to make remarkable advance in factorial large numbers. And this number is determining primes, testing conjectures, and solving numerical problems once considered out of reach. So the modern number theory is a broad subject that is classified into subheadings such as elementary number theory, algebraic number theory, analytic number theory, okay, so geometric number theory or the probabilistic number theory. And these categories reflect the method used to address problem concerning the integers. And the number theory is divided some branches or sub-subject, and they are the algebraic number theory, analytic number theory, geometry number theory, okay, or probabilistic number theory. And application of number theory is used in real life. Okay, so next we are going to talk about the mathematical induction. So here is the definition. So the mathematical induction is a technique for proving result or establishing the statement of natural numbers. So this method is the basic part of number theory, and the mathematical induction is depend on the natural numbers. So this part is illustrated in the method through a variety of examples. So first we will discuss about the definition. Okay, so here is the definition. So mathematical induction is the mathematical technique and which is used to prove a statement a formula or a theorem is true for every natural numbers. Okay. So in that case, where the natural number, you know that natural number starting from 1, okay, and up to infinity. And mathematical induction, it is actually if the number is true for 1, 2, 3, and if we consider it is true for n is equal to m or n is equal to k, then and if it is true for n is equal to k plus 1 or n plus 1, then we can say by mathematical induction it is true for all integer or all natural numbers. And this is the definition of mathematical induction. So the technique involves two steps to prove the statement as stated below. So step 1 is the base step. Okay, so it proves that a statement is true for the initial value. That means at n is equal to 1 and n is equal to 2. So the second step, it is the inductive step, and the first step, it is the base step. Okay, so inductive step, it is actually it proves that if the statement is true for all nth iteration, that means the nth number, okay, then it is also true for n plus 1th iteration or the number n plus 1, and this is the step for the mathematical induction. How to get the result from these two steps? So how to do it? So that means the first step that we consider the initial value for which the statement is true, and it is to be shown that the statement is true for n is equal to initial value. That means n is equal to 1 and n is equal to 2. Okay, and the second step, it is actually and if we assume that the statement is true for any value of n is equal to k, then prove that the statement is true for n is equal to k plus 1. So we actually break n is equal to k plus 1 into two parts. Okay, so the first part, it is equals to n is equal to k, and which is already proved. So when we take n is equal to k plus 1, then the statement is divided into two parts, and the first part is n is equal to k, and the second part, it will be k plus 1. So first part, that means the n is equal to k, and it is already proved. After that, we are trying to prove that the other part, that means that n is equal to k plus 1. And this is the steps of mathematical induction. So here is the proof of the mathematical induction. So let S, capital S, be the set of all positive integers containing the integer 1. And the integer k plus 1 whenever it contains k, okay, and assume also that S is not the set of all positive integers. As a result, there are some integers that are not contained in S, and thus those integers must have a least element by the well ordering principle. Notice that alpha is not equals to 1, and since 1 is belongs to S, but alpha minus 1, it is belongs to S, and thus the using the properties of S, alpha is also belongs to S. Thus S must contain all positive integers. And now we present some example in which we use the principle of mathematical induction. Okay, so here is the example. First example, 3 to the power n minus 1 is a multiple of 2 for n is equal to 1 to and up to infinity. Okay, so the mathematical induction, there are two steps. The first step is basic step. Okay, so the basic step, it is for n is equal to 1, say. Okay, so when we put n is equal to 1, then the above expression, that means 3 to the power n minus 1, it will be changed, and it is actually 3 to the power 1 minus 1. After putting the value of n is equal to 1, we will get 2, and you know 2, that means it is a multiple of 2. So the above expression is true for n is equal to 1. This is the basic step. Okay, and the second step, it will be, let us assume 3 to the power n minus 1 is true for n is equal to k. Okay, so hence 3 to the power k minus 1 is true. That means 3 to the power k minus 1 is a multiple of 2. and it is assumption. Okay, so we assume that this one, it is true for n is equal to k. So we have to prove that 3 to the power k plus 1 minus 1 is also a multiple of 2. So 3 to the power k plus 1 minus 1, it is divided into two parts. That means 3 to the power k into 3, okay, minus 1. And you know that 3 to the power k minus 1, it is a multiple of 2. And I have already assumed that 3 to the power k minus 1 is a multiple of 2. So therefore 3 into 3 to the power k minus 1, so it can be written as 2 into 3 to the power k plus 3 to the power k minus 1. Okay, so this expression can be written as this. So the first part, that means 2 into 3 to the power k, is certain to be a multiple of 2. Okay, so this is the obvious. And the second part, 3 to the power k minus 1, it is also true as our previous assumption. So hence the first part, it is a multiple of 2 as well as the second part, and it is our previous assumption where 3 to the power k minus 1, it is a multiple of 2. So therefore both the terms are multiple of 2. So hence 3 to the power k minus 1, it is a multiple of 2. So it is proved that 3 to the power n minus 1 is a multiple of 2 for all n is equal to 1 to 3 and up to infinity. So and this is actually the example of mathematical induction. So now move on the second example on mathematical induction. So here is the example: 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7 and up to 2n minus 1. That means the odd numbers. Okay, and it is equals to n square for n is equal to 1 to 3 and up to infinity. Okay, so here is the step 1 for mathematical induction, and this is the basic step. So when we put n is equal to 1, so that means the first term in the left side, where the first term it is n is equal to 1, that is mean the first term, and it is equals to 1. And if we put n is equal to 1 in the right side of this equation, and we get 1 to the power 1, that means 1. So left hand side and right hand side both are equal. Hence the step 1 is satisfied. Okay, so now let us assume that the statement is true for n is equal to k. And this is my second step, you know. So if it is true for n is equal to k, or if we assume that it is true for n is equal to k, then we will prove that it is also true for n is equal to k plus 1. Okay, and if it is true for n is equal to k plus 1, then by mathematical induction it is true for all n. Okay, so we will discuss in the second example. So here is the second step. So let us assume that the statement is true for n is equal to k. Okay, so hence 1 plus 3 plus 5 and up to 2k minus 1, it is equals to k square. It is true, and it is an our assumption. Okay, so now we have to prove that. So now we have to prove that 1 plus 3 plus 5 and up to 2 into k plus 1 minus 1, it is equals to k plus 1 whole square, also hold. That means it is hold for n is equal to k plus 1. So you know the left hand side of this equation, that means 1 plus 3 plus 5 and up to 2 into k plus 1 minus 1. So this series can be written as 1 plus 3 plus 5 and up to, after simplifying this, that means the last term will get 2k plus 2 minus 1. That means 2k plus 1. So the above series is reduced to 1 plus 3 plus 5 and up to 2k plus 1. So therefore the above series can be written as 1 plus 3 plus 5 and up to 2k minus 1 plus 2k plus 1. So the previous term of 2k plus 1, and it will be 2k minus 1. So you know 1 plus 3 plus and up to 2k minus 1, it is equals to, you know, k square. Okay, and I have already assumed that the series it is equals to k square. Okay, so therefore the above series can be written as k square plus 2k plus 1. Okay, so where, you know, 1 plus 3 plus 5 and up to 2k minus 1, it is equals to k square. Okay, So k square plus 2k plus 1. So after simplifying this equation, we'll get k plus 1 whole square. So therefore 1 plus 3 plus 5 and up to 2 into k plus 1 minus 1, it is equals to k plus 1 whole square. It is hold which satisfied the step 2. Okay, that means it is true for n is equal to 1, and we have assumed that it is true for n is equal to k. Then from this we have proved that it is true for n is equal to k plus 1. So that means by mathematical induction, it is true for all n. That means 1 plus 3 plus 5 and up to 2n minus 1, it is equals to n square. So hence the proof of the second example of mathematical induction. Okay, so after that we'll take the third example. So that 11 to the power n minus 4 to the power n is a multiple of 7 for all n belongs to n. And this is the problem, and this problem will be solved by mathematical induction. So here is the proof. A natural number a is a multiple of 7 if and only k is equal to 7 into b for some natural number b. So we proceed by induction on n. First we verify that the base case. Okay, that means when n is equal to 0. And then demonstrate the induction step wherein we show that if the proposition is true for n minus 1, then it is true for n. Okay, so here is the step 1. In that case, we will take the base point, it is equals to 0. That means the numbers starting from n is equal to 0. So then n is equal to 7 into 0. So n is a multiple of 7 in that case. Okay, this is the first step. And this verify that the base case. And the second case, let n greater than 0 and assume that 11 to the power n minus 1 minus 4 to the power n minus 1, it is multiple of 7. Okay, and we assume this one. And after that, we will show that 11 to the power n minus 4 to the power n, it is a multiple of 7 for all n belongs to n. That means for all n is equal to n. So that means 11 to the power n minus 1 minus 4 to the power n minus 1, it is a multiple of 7. So it can be written as 7 into k. And this is the mathematical expression of the number which is multiple of 7. That means 11 to the power n minus 1 minus 4 to the power n minus 1, it is equals to 7k for some k belongs to n. So now compute or now prove that 11 to the power n minus 4 to the power n is also a multiple of 7. That means 11 to the power n minus 4 to the power n, and it can be written as 11 to the power n minus 11 into 4 to the power n minus 1 plus 11 into 4 to the power n minus 1 minus 4 to the power n. So this expression can be written as this. Okay, where 11 into 4 to the power n minus 1 is subtract or as well as add in that expression. Okay, so after common 11 from the first two terms of the above equation, we'll get 11 into 11 to the power n minus 1 minus 4 to the power n minus 1. As well as from the last two terms, we'll get 4 to the power n minus 1 as common. Then from this, we'll get 4 to the power n minus 1 into 11 minus 4. Okay, so 11 to the power n minus 1 minus 4 to the power n minus 1, it is a multiple of 7. And 11 to the power n minus 1 minus 4 to the power n minus 1, it is equals to 7 into k. This is in the previous assumption. We'll get this one. Okay, so 7 into k. So 11 into 7 into k plus 4 to the power n minus 1 into 11 minus 1, it is equals to 7. You know that. Now taking 7 as common from this equation, we'll get 7 into 11k plus 4 to the power n minus 1. And which is a multiple of 7. So thus the both properties hold. So the proposition is true for all n belongs to n. So that means from the mathematical induction, it is true for n is equal to 0. And that means we assume that it is true for n is equal to n minus 1, that means 11 to the power n minus 1 minus 4 to the power n minus 1, it is a multiple of 7. And from this we'll get 11 to the power n, that means for n is equal to n, that means 11 to the power n minus 4 to the power n, it is also a multiple of 7. Thus the both properties hold. So by the mathematical induction, the above proposition is true for all n belongs to n. Okay, this is my third example on mathematical induction. So now move on the fourth example on mathematical induction. So here is the example. Use mathematical induction so that for all n belongs to n, summation over j is equal to 1 to n. Okay, j, this is actually the series function. Okay, so the first term 1, second term 2, third term, that means the sum of first n natural numbers, and it is equals to n into n plus 1 by 2. Okay, then you know the sum of first n natural number, that means 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 and up to n, it is equals to n into n plus 1 by 2. And this expression will be proved by mathematical induction. So here is the proof. So first note that summation over n is equal to 1 to n, j, it is equals to 1 into 2 by 2. When we put n is equal to 1, then from the above summation we'll get 1 into 2 by 2, that means 1. And thus the statement is true for n is equal to 1. For the remaining inductive step, suppose that or assume that the formula holds for n, that means summation over j is equal to 1 to n, j, it is equals to n into n plus 1 by 2. So from this we shall prove that summation over j is equal to 1 to n plus 1 j, it is equals to n plus 1 into n plus 2 by 2. Okay. So to complete the proof by the induction, so indeed you know summation over j is equal to 1 to n plus 1 j, it is, and you know this is equals to summation over j is equal to 1 to n, it is not 1, 1 to n j plus n plus 1. This is the n plus 1 term, and up to nth term it will be you know n into n plus 1 by 2 by the previous assumption, you know that. So it is equals to n into n plus 1 by 2 plus n plus 1, and after simplifying this we will get n plus 1 into n plus 2 by 2. So the expression is true for n is equal to n plus 1. Why it is true for n is equal to n? So therefore by the mathematical induction it is true for all n, and n is belongs to capital N. So hence the proof of the above problem. So after that we will move on the next problem on mathematical induction. So use mathematical induction to prove that n factorial it is less or equal to n to the power n, or all positive integer n. So here is the proof. So you know the first step of mathematical induction is the base step. So when we put n is equal to 1, then from the above expression we get 1 factorial. It is you know 1 factorial is equal to 1, and it is less or equal to 1 to the power 1. So that is 1 is equal to 1. It is also less or equal to 1. So we now present the inductive step. This is the second step. Okay, so assume that it is true, that means the expression it is true for n is equal to n, that means n factorial is less or equal to n to the power n for some n. So from this we will prove that n plus 1 factorial it is less or equal to n plus 1 whole to the power n plus 1. That means at n is equal to n plus 1 it is equals to this. Okay, and you know that n plus 1 factorial it is equals to n plus 1 into n factorial, or n plus 1 into n minus 1 factorial. Okay, or n plus 1 into n minus 1 into n plus n minus 2 factorial. Okay, so that means it is you know an n factorial it is equals to n to the power n. So n plus 1 factorial it is equals to n plus 1 into n to the power n, and this is less or equal to n plus 1 into n to the power n. it is also less than, strictly less than n plus 1 into n plus 1 whole to the power n. So you know that n is always less than n plus 1. So n to the power n, it is also less than n plus 1 whole to the power n. And you know n plus 1 into n plus 1 whole to the power n, it is equals to n plus 1 whole to the power n plus 1. So therefore n plus 1 factorial, it is less than equals to n plus 1 whole to the power n plus 1. So therefore from mathematical induction, it is true for n is equal to 1, and we suppose that it is true for n is equal to n, and from this we have proved that it is true for n is equal to n plus 1. So therefore the above expression, that is n factorial less or equal to n to the power n, it is true for all positive integer n. Hence the proof of the fifth example of mathematical induction. Now move on the second theorem or second principle of mathematical induction. Okay, so here is the theorem. A set of positive integers that has the property that for every integer k, it is, if it contains all the integer 1 through k, then it contains k plus 1, and if it is contain 1, then it must be the set of all positive integers. More generally, the property concerning the positive integer that is true for n is equal to 1, and that it is true for all integer up to n plus 1. Whenever it is true for all integer up to n, then it must be true for all positive integers. This is the second principle of mathematical induction. Okay, so the second principle of mathematical induction, it is also known as the principle of strong induction, and also the first principle of induction, it is known as the principle of weak induction. Okay, so to prove the second principle of induction, we use the first principle of induction. So here is the proof. So let capital T be the set of all integer containing 1, and such that for every positive integer k, if it contain 1, 2 and up to k, then it contain k plus 1. And let S be the set of all positive integers k, such that all the positive integers less than or equal to k are in T, and then 1 is in capital S. Okay, so we also see that k plus 1, it is also in capital S, and as you know, that is the set of all positive integers. So thus S must be the set of all positive integers, and thus T must be the set of all positive integers, since S is a subset of T. And this is the proof of the second principle of mathematical induction. And after that, we will discuss about the well ordering principle. Okay, so here is the theorem on well ordering principle, or the definition of well ordering principle. So every non-empty subset A of the set capital N of natural numbers has a least element. That means the least element of the set A, it means that there exists an element x belongs to A such that x is always less or equal to y for all y belongs to A. This is the statement of well ordering principle. So thus if S be a non-empty subset of natural number, then there exists a number p belongs to S such that p is always less or equal to q for all q belongs to S. So that means for every non-empty subset, there exists a least natural number. Okay, so the set containing just one element has a smallest number, namely the element itself. Hence the well ordering principle is true for set of size 1. Okay, so now let us assume that the principle is true for size set of size n. That means any set of n natural numbers has the smallest number. Okay, and let us consider the set S of n plus 1 numbers from which one element p is removed, Then remaining n elements have the smallest element, say q, by the induction hypothesis. So the smaller of p and q is the smallest element of S. Okay, this is actually the examples of Euler-Denning principle. Principle of mathematical induction, it follows that any non-empty finite set of natural numbers has the smallest element, and this is the proof of the Euler-Denning principle, or the examples on Euler-Denning principle. So here is the theorem of Euler-Denning principle. So every non-empty subset of a natural number has a least element, and here is the proof of the above theorem. So let capital A be a non-empty subset of capital N. Okay, so you know N is the set of all natural number, and we wish to show that A has a least element. That is, there exists an element A, it is belongs to A such that A is less or equal to small n for all n belongs to A. Okay, so this is the mathematical expression of above theorem. So we will do this by strong induction on the following predicate. So if p of n, this is actually the expression, if n is belongs to A, then A has a least element. So the basic step, it will be, you know, p of 0. It is clear that 0 is less or equal to n for all n belongs to n. So by the strong induction step, we want to show that p of 0 intersection p of 1 intersection and up to p of n, but p of n it is equals to, you know, if the number A belongs to A, then A has a least element. Okay, and this imply p of n plus 1. So to this end, suppose that p of 0, p of 1 and up to p of n are all true, and that n plus 1 it is belongs to A. So we consider two cases. So the first case, it will be, you know, is the if there does not exist m where m belongs to A such that m is less than n plus 1. So in this case, n plus 1 is the least element of A. But you know, m does not exist and it is not belongs to A, so n plus 1 is the least element of A. And if there exists m and m belongs to A such that m is less than n plus 1, so in that case p of n is true and A has a least element. So in either cases, we conclude that p of n plus 1 is true. Okay, so this is actually the strong mathematical induction. So by strong mathematical induction, we obtain that p of n is true for all n belongs to capital N. And since A is a non-empty, so we can pick n belongs to A, and moreover since p of n is true, so this implies that A has a least element. Okay, so this is the proof of the above theorem. So now move on the fourth theorem on Euler-Denning principle. So here is the theorem. The principle of mathematical induction hold if and only if the Euler-Denning principle hold. Okay, so this is the necessary and sufficient condition of Euler-Denning principle and mathematical induction. So suppose S is a non-empty set of natural number and that has no smallest element, and let R be the set and it is equals to X and X is belongs to N. So such that X is less or equal to small s for every small s belongs to capital S. Okay, so since S does not have the smallest element, and it is clear that R intersection S it is equals to 5. And it is also obvious that 1 is belongs to R. And assume K is belongs to R. So then by natural number less than or equal to K must also be less than or equal to S for every S belongs to S. You know that this is actually the expression of R. That is the set of R. So hence 1, 2, 3 and up to K are all belongs to capital R. And because R intersection S is equal to 5, so we find 1, 2, 3 and up to K it is not belongs to S. It is also belongs to R, so it is not belongs to S because R intersection S is equals to phi. So R and S are the disjoint set. And if k plus 1 is belongs to S, so then k plus 1 would be the smallest element of S because 1, 2, 3 and up to k are not belongs to S. Okay, so after k, the lowest element will be k plus 1. It is belongs to S. So the smallest number and it will be k plus 1. And it is also belongs to S. And this contradiction shows that k plus 1 it is belongs to R. So therefore the principle of mathematical induction would have implied that R is equal to N. So that would make S an empty set. Okay, that is actually S is an empty set. But R is equal to N. So therefore any non-empty set of natural number must have the smallest element. This is the necessary part of the object. And conversely, that means the sufficient part, if S be a set of natural numbers such that one is belongs to S, then for any k greater or equals to 1 and if k is belongs to S, then k plus 1 it is also belongs to S. Okay, by the mathematical induction. And suppose S is not equals to capital N, then S bar it is equals to n minus 8 and it is not equals to phi, but S is not equals to n. So the principle of well ordering states that S bar has the smallest element Z, and since 1 is belongs to S, so we deduce that Z is greater or equals to 2. Subtract 1 from both sides, we will get Z minus 1, it is greater or equals to 1. So the minimality of Z implies that Z minus 1 and it is does not belongs to S bar. So hence Z minus 1 it is belongs to S. While Z minus 1 does not belongs to S bar, so it is belongs to S. So the condition 2 implies that Z is belongs to S and which is a contradiction. Therefore, S is equal to N. So the set is it is equals to the set of natural numbers. This is the sufficient part of the theorem. So I'll stop here today's lecture. Thank you.